objective enough for individual, which are needed conscious beyond the or analytic premise of the nervous system system, beyond the world which we have no knowledge of, which is not it. Now the question is whether, and to what extent, is it to correspond to an existing world. The relation between the two could have only been brought about by means of the law of causality, for only this law leads from something different to something entirely different from it. This law itself, however, has first to certify its validity. Now it must either be objective or subjective origin. In both cases, it lies on either on the riverbank, thus cannot serve as a bridge. That the objective world would exist even if no cognizant being existed does seem certain at first glance, since it can be thought in abstract without its internal contradiction coming to light. But when we try to realize this abstract thought, raise it back to perceptual presentations, by manner of which alone, as it is with everything abstract, the thought can have content and proofs, and then try to imagine an objective world without a cognizant subject, we become aware that what we need in this instance imagine is in truth the opposite of that which we had intended, namely, that this is nothing other than a process in the intellect of a cognizant being that perceives an objective world, thus precisely that which we had wanted to exclude. For this perceptual and real world clearly is a phenomenon of the brain, therefore, there is a contradiction in the assumption that the world should exist, as such a world, independently of any brain. The inadmissibility of the so stubbornly held assumption of absolute realism can indeed be directly demonstrated, or at least made palpable, by merely clarifying its meaning in considerations such as the following. The world is to exist, according to realism, in the same manner as we are cognizant of it, independently of this cognition. Now let us just once remove all cognizant beings from it, thus leaving merely an organic and vegetable nature behind it. Let rock, tree, and stream be there, and the blue sky, sun, moon, and stars light this world, as before, only it is to no purpose, since there is no eye to see them. Then let us additionally place a cognizant being in it. That world is now displayed again in that brain, and repeats itself inside it exactly as it was previously outside it. Thus to the first world a second has been added, which, although completely separated from the first, resembles it to the last. In exactly the same way that the objective world is constituted in objective, endless space, the subjective world of this perception is now constituted in subjective, cognizant space. I am, and beyond me there is nothing. For the world is a presentation to me.
Presumptuous delusion. I am, and beyond me there is nothing. For the world is my passing form. You are a mere result of a part of this form, and altogether incidental.
What foolish conceit! Neither you nor your form would exist without me. You are conditioned by me. Whoever should think me away and then believe he can still think of you is caught in a gross delusion, for your existence beyond a presentation to me is a blatant contradiction, a sideroxylon. You are, simply means you are a presentation to me. Presentation to me is the place of your existence. I am therefore the first condition of your existence.
Fortunately, the presumptuousness of your assertion will soon be refuted in real terms and not by mere words. A few more moments, and you are actual no more. You will, with all your pretense, have sunk into nothing, passed by like a shadow, and suffered the fate of every one of my transitory forms. But I remain uninjured and undiminished from millennium to millennium, throughout infinite time, and observe unshaken the playful change of my forms.
This infinite time through which you pride yourself on living exists, like the infinite space you fill, merely in a presentation to me, indeed is the mere form belonging to presentation to me, which I carry already complete within me, and in which you display yourself, which receives you, and by way of which you first exist. The annihilation, however, with which you threaten me does not touch me, for you would also be annihilated. Indeed, it only concerns the individual, which for a short time is my bearer and presented to me like all else.
Even if I am to grant you, and accept that our existence, which is after all inseparably linked to that of these transitory individuals, can be regarded as something self-subsistent, it nevertheless remains dependent on me. For you are subject only insofar as you have an object, and that object is I. I am its core and content, that which is permanent in it, that which holds it together, without which it would be as incoherent and drift away as unsubstantially as the dreams and fantasies of your individuals, which have borrowed even their seeming content from me.
You do well to refrain from disputing my existence on account of its being attached to individuals. For just as inseparably as I am tied to these, so are you tied to form, your sister, and have never yet made your appearance without her. No eye has yet seen either you or me naked and isolated, for we are both only abstractions. It is one being, fundamentally, that itself perceives and is perceived by itself, but whose being in itself cannot consist in either perceiving or in being perceived, since these are divided between us,
So we are inseparably connected as necessary parts of a whole, which encapsulates both of us and exists through both of us. Only a misunderstanding can make us enemies on opposite sides, and lead to the suggestion that the one contests the existence of the other, with which its own existence stands and falls.
This whole, encapsulating both, is the world as presentation, or the phenomenon. If this is taken away, only the purely metaphysical remains, the thing in itself, which we will recognize as will.